Hello boys and girls, a very good evening and welcome to this live session on the IBPS PO preparation brought to you by TalentSprint. I hope all of you are doing well and your preparation for the IBPS exams, right? Be it the IBPS RRB exams or the PO exam, which is tentatively scheduled for the month of October, and the latest notification on IBPS clerks exams for which will happen in December is in full swing, right? You know that the IBPS PO exam is IBPS PO preliminary exam is less than a month away. We are on 13th of September today, and the first slot is tentatively scheduled for the 7th of October. So I guess we have just about 24 days left, 24 days left, which is 3 weeks. And I'm hoping that your preparation is in high gear for this exam. And of course, the IBPS RRB exam, the IBPS RRB Office Assistance exam is on 16th of this month. So it is just 2-3 days away, for which you must be fully geared up by now, right? And the latest notification, like I've mentioned, was from IBPS clerks, for IBPS clerks, the application for which has started on the 12th of September, which is yesterday. So I'm hoping all of you have started applying for this exam, right? Like I always say, try and complete your application at the earliest possible so that you can, focus on your preparation after that fully and boost your chances of selection, right? Now, today's session is gonna be on quantitative aptitude. You know the IBPS PO preliminary exam structure. There are a total of 100 questions and you are given 60 minutes of time to attempt these 100 questions. These 100 questions are split across 3 sections: quantitative aptitude, reasoning ability, and English language. We have 35 questions in each of quantitative aptitude and reasoning, and then 30 questions from English language. So altogether 100 questions with a composite time of 1 hour. Now it is really very important to be highly efficient and manage your time so that you can maximize your chances of selection, right? So what we are going to discuss today is on the quantitative aptitude section of this exam, right? We have got the last year's IBPS PO preliminary exam paper, which is based on memory, right? So I'll quickly run through these questions. I'll tell you what were the different topics tested in quantitative aptitude and then discuss some of these questions in the live session today, right? But before we get into that, let me also see who all have joined the chat and if there are any general queries that you want me to address before we start solving these questions. I can see a lot of you have started interacting already. We have Shailendra, Piyush Gupta, Utkarsh Srivastav, Deepti, Rajesh Rajshekhar. Then we have Madhusudhan, Anup Kumar, and Rahul Sitshaw, Suryakant Dubey. Yeah, Rajesh Rajshekhar. His queries is final year candidates can apply for bank exam. So Rajesh, I think final year candidates, strictly speaking, cannot apply for bank exams. There are specific dates given in the notification. If you can prove that you had graduated before that day or you have passed your graduation on or before that day, then you are eligible to appear for these exams. Yeah. Anup Kumar says SBI PO की preparation start करवाइए. Well, Anup, SBI PO अभी दूर है, right? इस साल का SBI PO I think April June में हुआ था, and अब एक notification next year ही आएगी 2018 में, उससे पहले तो आने वाली नहीं है. फिलहाल फोकस है IBPS PO एग्जाम्स पर, राइट? RRB एग्जाम्स ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट हो चुके हैं. नेक्स्ट है IBPS PO अक्टूबर में एंड उसके बाद होगा IBPS क्लर्क्स दिसंबर में. सो फिलहाल फोकस इन एग्जाम्स पे करते हैं, जैसे ही हम इन एग्जाम्स को क्लियर कर लेंगे देन वी विल फोकस ऑन SBI PO एग्जाम्स. या we have Vaishali, Arun Prakash, Neeraj Jha, Leela Rani, Madhusudan, then we have Govardhan, Shrishti, and many others. So good to see you all. Thank you for joining us in this live session. Let me again see if there are any recent comments about anything that you want me to address before we start solving. Yeah. No, I think a lot of you have joined. Rahul says RRB PO prelims I did not write well. Well, Rahul, disappointing to know that you did not perform well in your IBPS PO preliminary examination. Well, nothing can be done about it, Rahul. I think focus on the other exams now, right? See, you know that success and failure is a part and parcel of this game, right? I mean, you pass some, you fail some. So let's say even if you have not done well, don't lose hope. I think there are many other exams lined up, so focus and continue your preparation. I think it is important that you don't give up. Failing is not a problem. The problem is when you refuse to try again. So just don't lose hope and continue your preparation for other exams. Alright, so I think we can start. Many of you want me to start the discussion. Some of you have asked me about the RRB PO cutoff, right? Utkarsh Srivastav and others there. Well, the RRB PO exam has gotten over only last week. I think there was some challenge in the state of Karnataka where the exams have got postponed. But then I think the question here is about the cutoff. What is the expected cutoff, right? Or how many questions should we attempt in the upcoming exam so that we can clear the cutoff? These are the most common questions that we usually get. And my response to these questions always has been that I do not know the answer, right? I do not know what the expected cutoff is. I don't really care. And I think you should also not worry about it. Cutoff is something that you cannot influence, right? You don't really have to worry about it. What is in your control, what you can actually influence is your performance, right? Your preparation. So focus on that. Forget about everything else, right? Cutoff is not pre-decided. It depends on how you guys have performed, how all of you have performed in the exam. It depends on the number of vacancies there. So just don't worry about that and practice. I think focus on things that you can influence. Focus on things that you can control. Leave everything else aside. Okay? Now, without wasting any more time in general discussion, we can do that later as well, somewhere during the session. Let me now quickly tell you about what happened last year in the IBPS PO preliminary examination. So, like you all know, there were 35 questions as per the notification, and 35 questions from quantitative aptitude. And total time you have for the entire paper is 1 hour. So it depends on you as to how much time would you like to dedicate for this section, right? That again, we will discuss about the exam strategy and things like that when we come closer to the IBPS PO preliminary exam. Let me now quickly tell you what were the different topics tested, right? Now, if you look at the paper here, I think 36 to 70, question numbers 36 to 70 were from quantitative aptitude, right? So 35 questions. Now the first set here, question numbers 36 to 40 was on data interpretation. So here I can see that the simple table has been given, which has got 3 different villages A, B and C for 3 different years, 2010, 2005 and 2000, the number of total votes and the number of valid votes have been given. So a simple tabular form there, which has got the data about 3 different villages across 3 different years, and we need to answer 5 questions. So I think questions are also simple. We will look at these questions here. It's all about your calculation ability, right? So you have to be really quick in your calculations, right? Be data interpretation or any topic, you have to be really very quick and sharp in the way you do your calculations, right? So I think first 5 questions were from data interpretation. Then we had the next one on probability, right? 1 question on probability. The next question is on time and work. It talks about 14 men who can do a work in 18 days, 15 women who can do the work in 24 days and so on. Then the next one on mensuration, right? It's talking about perimeter of rectangle and circumference of a circle and stuff like that. So there's probability, there's time and work, there's mensuration, then there is simple and compound interest. Then the next question is on trains, which is a part of time and distance, right? So 5 independent questions. Then I see that there is a set of 5 questions on number series, right? Number series, which says what will come in place of question mark in the following number series. So missing numbers have to be found based on the logic behind the given numbers there, right? Then again, we have another data interpretation question, which has a line graph. This line graph here talks about the number of students who have appeared for an examination from state A and state B. So it's talking about 2 states, number of candidates appearing in a particular examination over different years from 2004 to 2009. So 5 questions, again we will try and cover these 5 questions today. What follows is quadratic equations, right? You have been given quadratic equations. You have to solve the 2 equations and then compare the variables x and y, right? Compare the variables x and y. So 5 questions there. Then again we have some independent questions, right? There's one question on profit and loss. It's talking about cost price, mark price, discount, etc. Then there's one question on allegations and mixtures, right? Then the next one is on ages. A is 2 years older than B, while B is 3 years younger than C, and so on. Then the next one here is on partnership. And the last independent question here is on averages, right? averages. And finally, we have last 5 questions which are on approximations. What approximate value should come in place of question mark in the following questions there. Okay. Now I can see that some of you have given a feedback that we should have shared this PDF. Well, we will do that. Don't worry. You will get this PDF. If not now, some other time we'll plan and share this PDF with you. The idea is to discuss as many questions as possible out of this these 35 questions that were asked last year. So if you look at the breakup, I think there are 10 questions on data interpretation, 5 questions on approximations, 5 questions on equations, 5 questions on number series. So 10 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is total 25. And the remaining 10 questions are from arithmetic ability, which constitutes different topics here like average, time and work, time and distance, profit and loss, simple and compound interest, ages, partnership, allegations and mixtures, probability, right? And yeah, I think that's it. These are the 8 or 10 different topics. So all the 10 questions, all the 10 independent questions are from 10 different topics. Mensuration is another topic here. So in my view, everything is important. Now, if you ask me what are the important topics for IBPS PO preliminary examination, there is nothing that you can leave. All the topics are important, right? I mean, every single mark can shoot your score, not the score, but shoot your rank. As such, ranks are not given here, but your level elsewhere, right? So you cannot skip any topic in your preparation. You have to focus on all the topics here, right? And in my view, there are limited concepts, limited topics in quantitative aptitude, so you can really fully get ready for this section in the limited time that we have, right? Of course, topics like data interpretation have got some high weightage, 10 marks here. Then number series is usually a common topic. Quadratic equations we have seen has been a common topic in exams, bank exams these days. And yeah, we can expect 5 questions on simplifications or approximations, either 5 questions on simplifications, 5 questions approximations. But overall, whatever be the topic, whatever be the different areas on which you are tested in quantitative aptitude, the one common thing across all these 35 questions is calculation. Every question here has got numbers and you have to play with these numbers, right? So I repeat myself, you make sure that you work on your calculation ability, your numerical skills on a daily basis. Every day if you spend about 30-45 minutes practicing on calculations, you will find a huge difference by the time you go for your examination, right? There are a lot of speed math techniques that we have discussed in our earlier live classes, so you can just go through those videos available in YouTube, learn those techniques and try and use them on a daily basis so that you can apply it at the right time in the right place and, you know, save your precious time there. Okay, so that's about the overall paper last year. Let me now share my screen with all of you, present some of these questions, and let's see how many of you are able to get the right answer. Like I said, it's not just the answer that matters. Right answer, of course, is important, but more than that, you have to get the answer as quickly as possible. And for that, you have to be really good in your numerical skills. So I think we'll start with data interpretation. Let me present the first question to you all. And here we go. So here's the first set of questions that we are going to discuss in the session today. Like I said, there was a simple table given in the last year's paper. Look at what this table talks about, right? Study the following table and answer the questions that follow. So here he's talking about 3 villages, village A, B and C, right? Village A, B and C. Then there are 3 different years, 2010, 2005 and 2010, and we have been given the total votes and valid votes in each of these villages for each of these years. So the data is like ultra simple in my view, right? Very simple data. We have been given 3 villages, 3 different years, and the number of votes and valid votes, right, for each one of them. So I'll leave you with this data for a few seconds, understand it, and then answer the first question, which is right below that. Yeah? I'm sure you're able to see the question there. Quickly solve the first question that is on your screens now. I'll be back in a minute. I can see that a lot of you have got the answers here. 400 is what most of you have marked, right? To name a few, we have Prasad Chinna, Selvi, Anup Kumar, then Saujanya, Nagakiran, Hemavati. All of you have got 400, right? Purnachandra, Nikhil Vinod, and many others there. Mayur, Rahul, Tina. Good. So good to see that you've got the answer here, 400. Right or wrong, we'll anyway figure out in the next few seconds. So let me quickly present the screen back and solve the first question for you all, right? So here we go. Now, like I said, the data is very easy to understand. We have got 3 different villages here, A, B, and C, 3 different years, 2000, 2005, and 2010. What has been given here is the number of total votes and valid votes for each of these villages across all the 3 years. Now look at the first question. What is the average invalid votes for village A for the given years? What is the average invalid votes for village A for the given years? See, from the data it's very clear. Total votes have been given to you, 2,500. Valid votes are 2,250. What will be invalid votes? Invalid votes will be the difference between these two numbers, right? So invalid votes in 2000 for village A is going to be what? 250, right? Similarly, invalid votes in 2005. The total votes are 3,800, of which valid are only 3,250. So what is the number of invalid votes? 3,800 minus 3,250, which is 550. And then for the last year, similarly, 3,400 minus 3,000 is 400. Now sum this up, it will give you the total number of invalid votes, right? These 3 values on addition, on summing up, will give you the total number of invalid votes. So once we get the total number of invalid votes, divide it by 3 to get the average invalid votes. As simple as that. So 250 and 550 is 800. 800 plus 400 is 1200. 1200 upon 3 is 400. So that's your answer. I think a very simple question. It shouldn't take more than 15 seconds for you to arrive at the answer in the exam. Let me present the next one to you all now. Here's the next question. What does it say? If total votes polled in village B in the year 2000, 25% are polled by females and total valid female votes are 1875, then find the number of valid votes polled by males. So this is an interesting one. It says out of the total votes which have been cast in the village B in year 2000, 25% were by females. 25% were polled by females. And the total valid female votes are 1875. Valid votes which have been cast by females are 1875. Then find the number of valid votes polled by males. So interesting one there. Should not take more than 30 seconds. Your clock starts now. Let's see how many of you get the right answer. See, questions are all very simple. Like I said, time management is really very important. So you have 35 questions on quantitative aptitude, and I think you cannot spend more than 20 to 23 minutes, about 22 to 23 minutes in the exam for answering these 35 questions, right? Because there are other sections which you need to cover up in those 60 minutes, reasoning and English language. Okay, Kulvinder Saini is the first one to respond. He has got the answer as option 5, 5725, 5725. Waiting for more responses before we take it up. Yeah, we have Abhirami here who says, I want to share one thing. I followed your words due to sudden unexpected bad things happened to me before the exam and I could not practice more, but calm mind helped me do the exam at moderate level. Well, I think thanks for that feedback, Anu. Yeah, like I say, it's important that you keep yourselves calm and composed before the exam so that you can give your best. Just practicing alone is not going to help you. So good to hear that, and I'm sure others will follow the same strategy for their exams. Now a lot of answers have come in. 5725 is the most common response here. Rohit Gupta, Akhil Reddy, Pragnya, Rahul, Shailend, Minal, and Sridhar Rao, Mayur, all of you have got 5725. I see Venkatesh who has got 5675, which is option 1. So there's some difference in the responses here. Let's quickly solve this and see what the correct answer is. All right. So what does it say? If the total votes polled in village B in the year 2000, 25% were polled by females. So total votes of village B in 2000. So total of village B in 2000 is how much? 8,000, right? Out of these 8,000, it says 25% were by females. See, these are total votes. 25% are by females. What is 25% of 8,000? 25% of 8,000 is 1/4 of 8,000. 1/4 of 8,000 is 2,000. You don't have to really put these numbers on paper, right? I mean, you can do this calculation mentally. 25% is 2,000. So 2,000 were polled by females, and the total valid female votes are 1875. Total valid female votes are 1875. Then find the number of valid votes polled by males. Well, I think we don't really have to find out what is 25% of 8,000 at all, because what do we know? I know that in village B, the total number of valid votes in the year 2000 were 7,600. Out of the 7,600, he says 1875 were from females. So how many will be from males? The remaining will be from males. 7,600 minus 1875. So we don't even have to spend that 1 second calculating 25% of 8,000, right? This is a waste of time, not needed. Simple answer is 7,600 minus 1875, right? Total value is 7,600, of which 1875 have come from females. So the rest will be coming from males, obviously. 7,600 minus 1875. Now the question is, how do you take the difference? Would you do this in the exam? 7,600 minus 1875. If this is how you are going to calculate, then you are not fit for the exam. 10, 9, 10, 10 minus 5, 5, 9 minus 7 is 2, 5 minus 8 is not possible. So this is 6, 15 minus 8 is 7, and 6 minus 1 is 5. 5725. Right. Absolutely right. 5725 is the number of valid votes from males. But if this is how you have arrived at the answer, then you have lost the race already. You are not fit for the exam. Remember, this is what kills your time, right? The questions are not difficult. We make it difficult and lengthy and time consuming by doing all these, by following all these lengthy methods in the exam. You should be able to calculate the difference between 7,600 and 1875 mentally in just about 3 seconds. How do you do? The easiest way to calculate is, see, I'm writing it here on paper so that I can explain it to you, but you can do it mentally. Do not subtract 1875. Don't try to subtract 1875. Subtracting 1875 is difficult. What is easy to subtract is 2000. See, 1875 is close to 2000, right? So instead of subtracting 1875, subtract 2000. 7,600 minus 2000. 7,600 minus 2000 is how much? 7,600 minus 2000. It is 5,600. 5,600. You also know that the answer should be more than 5,600. How much more than 5,600? See, we have subtracted 2,000. We were supposed to subtract only 1875. So how much more have we subtracted? 125 more has been subtracted. You understand? Basically, we are splitting 1875 as 2,000 minus 125. While this may appear to be a lengthy process, when you do it mentally after practicing enough, it becomes a lot easier. So don't subtract 1875, subtract 2000 and then add 125, then add 125 because you have subtracted 125 more, add 125. So 7,600 minus 2000 is 5,600 plus 125 is 5,725, option 5. Right? Option 5, 5725 would be the final answer. All right. Next one. What is the average of valid vote poll in the year 2000? Now this is like a sitter, right? It should not take more than 10 seconds for you to arrive at the answer. Average of valid votes in the year 2000. So valid votes in 2000, 2,250, 7,600, 4,250. Now how quickly do you add these values and then divide by 3 to get the answer is what matters here, right? Now a smart person will not add 2,250 to 7,600. A smart person will first add these two values. Why? He will get a round figure. See, 250 and 250 will make it 500. So that's the idea. See, these things play a key role. If you really ask me, knowing a shortcut is not important. How quickly do you work on these numbers is important. I can add 2,250 to 7,600 also, not a problem. But adding 2,250 to 4,250 will be much faster. And then adding that result to 7,600 will be, much easier, right? So 2,250 plus 4,250. 4,000 and 2,000 is 6,000. 250 and 250 is 500. 6,500. 6,500 plus 7,600. How do you add? Don't put it on paper, right? This is 6,500. 6,500 and 7,600. 6,000 and 7,000 is 13,000. 500 and 600 is 1,100. 13,000 and 1,100 is 14,100. So your answer should be 14,100 divided by 3. He's asking us to find out the average, right? So for three villages, so divide by 3. Now again, do not start doing it on paper, right? Split and merge is the most important technique. Whether you're doing additions or subtractions or multiplications or divisions, I think split and merge plays a key role. If you are a master of this technique, you can do your calculations really quick. What do? I'll break 14,100 in such a way that it becomes easier for me to divide by 3. See, as such, you can divide this value also by 3 directly, not a problem. But if at all you're not able to do, which I'm sure is the most common problem with most of us, then you divide, then you split. How do you split it? 14,100 is not 14,100. It is 12,000 plus 2,100. Now, why am I taking it as 12,000 plus 2,100? Why not 13,000 plus 1,100? Because 13,000 is not a multiple of 3. 12,000 is a multiple of 3. 13,000 is not a multiple of 3. Why am I not taking it as 14,000 plus 100? Because 14,000 cannot be divided by 3 easily. 12,000 can be divided by 3 easily. And then there is a balance value. So 12,000 by 3. Now what happens is 14,100 by 3 becomes 12,000 by 3 plus 2,100 by 3. All this has to be done mentally. I am putting it up so that I can explain it to you, right? You have to do it mentally. 12,000 by 3 is 4,000 plus 2,100 by 3. Luckily, 2,100 is also a multiple of 3 here. So 2,100 by 3 is 700. So 4,000 plus 700, 4,700. Option 4 will be the answer. You're getting it? I think some of you have marked 4,750. Madhusudan has marked 4,750, which is incorrect. 4,700 is the correct answer. So definitely an easy one, but how quickly do you solve is the point. And I think if you see, all the questions that we have solved so far are just based on calculations. Quickly pick up the values, relevant values, and do whatever calculation needs to be done there. Look at the next one. Total votes of village A in 2000 is what percent of valid votes polled in village C in 2010? Now this is one of the most commonly asked questions from percentages. You know, the format here is X is what percent of Y. The most common question from percentages. X is what percent of Y. See, look at this. Is what percent of this phrase is very important. Whatever on the left hand side, total votes of village A in 2000 is what percent of valid votes of C in 2010. So X is like total votes of A in 2000. Y is like valid votes of C in 2010. In between anyway we have is what percent of Y. What is the result, by the way? X is what percent of Y? X upon Y into 100. X by Y into 100. Very, very common question. X is what percent of Y? X by Y into 100. Now what is X in our case? A in 2000. Total votes of A in 2000. Total votes of A in 2000 is 2,500. What is Y in our case? Valid votes of C in 2010. Valid votes of C in 2010 is 6,750. That's it. These are the two numbers. X is 2,500. Y is 6,750. What do you have to do? X by Y into 100. So 2,500 divided by 6,750 into 100. A smart person or a smart student will not write this on paper. He will write 250 by 675 into 100 because he knows that zeros will anyway get cancelled. So why do you want to write the 2 zeros first and then do this cancellation, right? You will be wasting 1 to 2 seconds of your time in just doing that crap there. Directly write 250 by 675, or even better if you can divide directly and put the values. So this is like 25 into 10. This will be 25 into 27. See, 25 into 25 is 625. Again, split and merge. See, what is happening mentally with me is I am splitting it and then merging it. 675 is not 675. It is 625 plus 50. 625 by 25 is 25. 50 by 25 is 2. 25 plus 2, 27. That's the result. But it has to be done mentally. This part has to be done mentally. So anyway, the solution will be 10 by 27. 10 upon 27 into 100. Now, in my view, you will be wasting your time if you start multiplying 10 with 100. And then you say the answer is 1000 by 27. And then you start the division. Waste of time. Don't do this. You should never worry about this 100 at all. Right? I mean, try and avoid it in your calculation. What you should only look at is 10 by 27 can be what percentage? 10 by 27 can be what percentage? 10 by 27 can be what percentage? How do you do that now? See, 10 by 27. Finally, I'm looking at that fraction 10 upon 27. 10 upon 27. You know that percentage is nothing but a fraction. Percentage is a fraction where the denominator is 100. Right? So if 10 by 27 is a fraction, what percentage is it? Denominator should be treated as 100, which means 27 in our case is 100%. 27 is 100%. If 27 is 100%, what will be 10%? 2.7. Explanation may take a little bit of time, but if you understand the concept and do this calculation in the fashion that I'm explaining you, I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to arrive at the answers faster. Right? Always treat the denominator as 100%. Always treat the denominator as 100%. So according to our understanding here, 100% is 27. If 100% is 27, what will be 10%? 2.7. What is the numerator? Numerator is 10. Now try and understand, multiplying 2.7 by what will bring you close to 10? By multiplying 2.7 with what can you get as close as possible to 10? I think see 2.7 into 4. Now this is again your numerical skills, right? Multiply this by 4. What happens? 10% into 4 is 40%. 2.7 into 4 will be 10.8. See 2.5 into 4 is 10. 0.2 into 4 is 0.8. Again, everything is split and merge. Every single step of your calculation is split and merge. Every single step is split and merge. Yeah. I am saying 2.7 is not 2.7. 2.7 is 2.5 plus 0.2. So 2.5 into 4 is 10. 0.2 into 4 is 0.8. 10.8. So the observation is our denominator 27 is 100%. The numerator is 10. I know that 10.8 is equivalent to 40%. If the numerator was 10.8, answer would have been 40%. If the numerator is 10.8, answer will be 40%. What is the actual numerator? Actual numerator is less than 10.8. Actual numerator is less than 10.8. So answer should be less than 40%. Approximate calculation. We are trying to eliminate the wrong answers, right? If the numerator is 10.8, then the answer would be 40%. But the actual numerator is less than 10.8. So answer should be less than 40%. Immediately option 4, option 5 gets cancelled. And option 3 also gets, option 1 also gets cancelled. I mean, it should be less and it should be very close to 40%. So the question now is it 35 or 37? Now, I would say this case maybe only 3 options have got eliminated. But let's say if we are able to eliminate 4 options, then whatever is left out is the correct answer. Now we have to decide between 35 and 37. We have to decide between 35 and 37. So try and do a little more precise calculation. Maybe just try one more step and you will know which is correct. Is it 35 or 37? Or do it differently. But the whole idea is whenever you have a fraction, try to treat the denominator as 100%. And based on that, try to come as close as possible to the numerator. Yeah? I mean, because I've gone through enough numbers, because I've practiced enough, which I do every day, even today, I know that the answer will be 37 and not 35. I'm pretty sure that the answer cannot be 35. It may be a little difficult for the freshers to understand this, but if you follow our videos, if you go back and check our videos, you will know that answer cannot be 35%. I mean, just following the videos will not help. You should also have practiced enough. Because 35% for 27, in my view, will be, see, 30% of 27 will be 8.1 plus 5% of 27 will be 1.35. So 8.1 and 1.35 is 9.45. If it is 9.45, then it is 35%. This is more than 9.45. So answer should be more than 35%. And that is the reason answer is 37. This happened mentally. This is what came to my mind mentally. I'm not putting it on paper. I mean, I'm putting it here so that I can explain it to you. But this is what you should realize. You're able to follow. All these numbers should kind of, you should keep splitting the numbers. I'm repeating, the whole technique is about split and merge. Most of the calculations can be done using this concept of split and merge. Try to keep breaking the numbers. I mean, I'm breaking 10 in terms of, multiples of 2.7. So 10 can be taken as 8.1, which is 30% of 2.7. Then I'm taking 1.35. 1.35 is 5% of 2.7. How do I know? See, 10% is 2.7. So 5% will be half of 10%. Half of 2.7 is 1.35. So this is 30%, this is 5%, 35%. 35% is 9.45. But the actual numerator is more than 9.45, which means the answer should be more than 35. The only value which is more than 35 and less than 40, more than 35 and less than 40 in these options is 37. You getting it? Yeah, answer should be 37. I really appreciate your feedback. I mean, Sid Shaw here says that if you do it in mind, we can't catch your speed, to be frank. I agree, and I'm sure Nasima Banu also agrees. Yeah, but unless you start really doing it yourself, then even then you'll not be able to catch up. So the point I'm trying to make is, see, don't try to what should I say? Don't try to catch up with me, but catch up the method, right? Split is the idea. Split and merge is the idea. Keep breaking the numbers. And the only way to get efficient here is to practice more. The more you practice, the easier it gets, right? I know I have spent a lot of time in just a simple calculation 10 by 27, but I was explaining it to you, right? When you do it yourself, I think within no time you'll be able to eliminate the 4 options. Within no time you eliminate the first 4 options and you know what is the correct answer there, right? Anyway, let's move to the next one, which is on your screens now. Archana says, please do regular live classes. we are waiting for every Wednesday. Well, you don't really have to wait for Wednesdays, Archana. You can check out our programs where we have not one but 4 live classes every week, every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Saturday. Next question is there on your screens. I'm waiting for your responses. Meanwhile, we have Siddhartha Chakraborty who says, in the events calendar, this class didn't show up. Somehow I came on your YouTube channel and got to know that a live class is going on. I'm really disappointed since I missed some part of the class. Well, Siddhartha, I can understand your concern here, and apologies for that. It didn't show up in the events calendar because this is a public session, right? What shows up in your events calendar, Siddhartha, looks like Siddhartha is an enrolled student of TalentSprint. So what really shows in your events calendar that you have in our dashboard, TalentSprint's dashboard, is the other live classes that we have on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays and whatever, right? But I take your feedback. I think we'll be better off including this also in the events calendar, which you will do immediately. But don't worry, you have not missed any part of this class. I mean, while you have missed it, you don't really miss it because we will add the recorded version of this class into your account tomorrow itself. So you can watch that. Answers? Answers. All right, answers have started coming in. 42.5, 36.5, 42.5. Yeah, I think most of you have got 42.5. Vikash Kumar, Mishra, Harini, Archana, Shrishti, then Maharsh Devraj, Nitish. Rahul Pandey has got 36.5. 36.5 is not there in the options at all. Yeah. Mayur, by the way, says that we have to act like these in the exam. So the method is best. Yes, actually I'm trying to emulate the way you have to perform in the exam, right? You have to be really quick. In fact, this also is a waste of time in my view. So much of paperwork and all that. But cut it down. I think the whole idea is cut it down. And you'll get the answers really quick. 39.5. Kondaya has got 39.5, which is option 1. Deepthi has also got 39.5. Ashwin has got 37.75, which is option 5. So you guys are really confused with this one, huh? And somebody there, Abhirami has got 41.25. So except 46.75, all the other options have been marked here. I mean, by someone or the other, right? 39.5, 42.5 is of course the most common response that I see. Then 1 or 2 of you have marked 41.25, and then others have marked 37.75. So looks like this is the one where you got stuck. Now I'm sure the question is easy. What is complex here is the calculation. You are not able to arrive at that common answer. So let me show it to you, right? See what the question says. Valid votes polled in village C in 2005. Now look at the number immediately. Village C 2005 valid. 2005 village C valid is 4,600. So let me replace this whole phrase with 4,600. I mean, the phrase doesn't really matter. I'm interested in the number. So 4,000 is by what percent less? Is by what percent less? Less than total votes polled by B in 2000. Now what is total votes polled by B in 2000? Total B in 2000. What is it? Total votes polled by B in 2000. So in 2000 B total is 8,000. Right? Valid of C in 2005 is 4,600. Total of B in 2000 is 8,000. So I can replace the second part with 8,000 now. So what does the question now become? 4,600 is by what percent less than 8,000? 4,600 is by what percent less? See, be careful. Usually where we go wrong while answering these questions is if you don't read the word valid. Instead of valid votes, if you take the total votes of C. Total votes of C in 2005 is 5,000, but he's asking us to take up valid votes. So be careful when you're picking up the values, right? Then total votes of B. Total votes of B in 2000 is 8,000. So if you don't take up the values properly, then you will be definitely getting a wrong answer, right? So valid votes of C in 2005 is what percent less than total votes of B in 2000. We have got the numbers. 4,600 is by what percent less than 8,000. Now this is another common question type from percentages. The previous one that we had done was X is what percent of Y. This is X is what percent more or less. Here we have got less, but it can be more also, right? So X is what percent more or less than Y. How do you solve such questions? X is what percent more or less than Y? x difference y or x minus y by y into 100. That's the calculation. X is what percent of y, x by y into 100. The previous one, right? X is what percent of y, x by y into 100. X is what percent more or less than y, right? X y से कितना percentage more या less है. जब हमें ये करना हो, what will you take? Numerator will become x minus y. Otherwise the numerator is x, simply x. And remember, always with respect to y, the calculation is with respect to y. Denominator में y जाएगा, than y, right? We are comparing with y. The comparison is with respect to y. So denominator में you have to take y. So what is x in our case? 4,600. What is y? 8,000. Now x minus y is 3,400. In fact, minus 3,400. So don't panic that I'm getting a negative answer. X minus y will be what? 4,600 minus 8,000, which is minus 3,400. Now what does this negative sign indicate? Denominator anyway is 8,000. What does the negative sign indicate? The negative sign indicates that it is less. If you get a positive sign, that means it's more. Anyway, from the question itself, we know that it's going to be less, right? So don't worry about the negative sign. Sign doesn't matter. Magnitude is important. So 3,400 by 8,000. X minus y by y into 100, right? 3,400 by 8,000. Now do the calculation. See, in fact, I would say don't waste now time in cancelling these zeros. 0, 0, 0, 0. Don't cancel that. What is 100%? 8,000. So what will be 10%? 800. Try to break 3,400 in terms of 800. So I think it will become 3,200 plus 200. That's the way I look at it. Yeah. Now what is this 3,200? 3,200 is 800 into 4. 800 into 4. 800 into 4. 3,200. 800 is 10%. So 10% into 4, 40%. So answer is 40% plus something. 40% plus something. So definitely the answer should be more than 40%. First option, second option, fifth option gets eliminated. More than 40, we have got 41.25, 42.5, 46.75. 46.75 is not in the range. It should be either 41.25 or 42.5. So I think do one more step. 200. 200 is what percentage? See, I know that 10% is 800. 10% is 800. So 200 is how much? Just look at it proportionately. 200 is 1/4 of 800. 800 by 4. 800 by 4 will give you 200. So 10 by 4, 2.5. Right? 800 by 4 is 200. So similarly 10 by 4, 2.5. This will be 2.5%. So we have 40% plus 2.5%, 42.5%. Option 2 is the precise answer. You're getting it? Or maybe you can also take 3,400 as 4,000 minus 600. See, either ways, either take 3,200 plus 200 or 4,000 minus 600. Even if you take 4,000 minus 600, you will get the same answer, 42.5%. So the concept to be used is x is what percentage more or less than y. X is what percentage more or less than y, which is x minus y by y into 100, and then play with the values. So in my view, very clearly, all the 5 questions that we have solved were easy. But how much time would it take to arrive at the answers for these 5 questions is what really matters in the exam, because you have 60 minutes to answer 100 questions. You can't be spending 1 minute per question, right? The average time that you have is 36 seconds. 36 seconds per question. Now for you to be able to, map to that average time, 36 seconds, you have to be really quick. And it's not about shortcut formula or the concept. Concepts are very limited. What matters, like I've mentioned 4 times already in the session, is the way you do your calculations. So focus on that. I think calculation is the key, right? Should we go for the next one? I think we have one more data interpretation question, like I said, right? There was another line graph where he's talked about people who have appeared in a particular exam from 2 different states in different years. But let's solve some independent questions now, right? It's all about speed. I think the whole idea is about speed. Questions are very easy, but time was too short for us to answer all the questions in that limited time. So speed is the key, right? Need for speed. Let me take up the next question. Right, 1 second. Just give me a second. Okay, I think just give me a minute. I'll get the next set of questions ready and present it to you. Right? But focus on your calculation. I think you just need to look at reflect on your own performance now in the last 5 questions and see where could you improve. I'm sure the most common response will be numbers, calculations. All right, so we also have the next set of questions ready. I was just looking at your comments here. Sid Shaw says wrong number series will come in PO preliminary exam, question mark. I don't know. It can come. And the most predictable thing in bank exams is unpredictable, right? I mean, you never know. So will it come? Yes, it will come. Missing data interpretation, Venkatesh, last year it was not asked. In both the graphs I can see that there was no data which was missing, but yeah. In the SBI PO exam this year, in the mains exam you can expect those kind of questions, but at least in the preliminary examination paper that I have, which is based on memory, there's no missing data interpretation question type. Yeah. Okay, let me go for the next one now. How to do in short time is a big problem, right? The only solution to that big problem, Vaishnavi, is to practice more. There's no shortcut. There's no other shortcut. Keshu says, what is the use of live chat if you're not solving the queries? Keshu, please post your query again. Looks like I've missed it. There are too many points coming up, right? Yeah. Okay, so let me present the next question. I think somebody has also mentioned that what's the point of solving such easy ones? Yeah, right. There's no point in solving such easy ones. But what do I do if these kind of questions are what is being asked in the exams, right? I mean, like I said, we have not framed these questions, right? I'll be very honest. These have been copied from some source which says this is the IBPS PO's last year paper. So we just can't help it. They're asking such easy questions, and this is where people are failing, right? Because the difficulty level of the question is not important, it's about speed, and that is the reason I've been focusing on speed and speed since then, right? Since the beginning. So speed really is important. Okay, now let me present the next question to you all. Some independent questions before we close it. Yeah, here we go. So this question is on probability. It says find the probability that a number from 1 to 300 is divisible by 3 or 7. Quick, should not take much time. Simple question on probability, right? Find the probability that a number from 1 to 300 is divisible by either 3 or 7. Irshad says, Umang says profit and loss, data interpretation. Somebody says puzzles and allegations and mixtures. Yeah, we'll take up all the questions, all the requests, maybe in the upcoming sessions that we have planned, right? Answer. Time I think is running by. Quickly answer. Vaishnavi says missing numbers in data interpretation with average are given. Please explain this type of question at least. Well, Vaishnavi, I think we have already discussed this missing data interpretation type of questions in our earlier live sessions for TalentSprint students, which happens on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. I think I've solved one such question in one of the Wednesday sessions as well. So you can just explore both the options and get an idea. And yes, we will take up puzzles when we do a reasoning session, so don't worry. Anyway, answers for this one, nobody has responded so far. Find the probability that a number from 1 to 300 is divisible by 3 or 7. Not a single response so far. Okay, answers have started coming in. 32 out of 75, right? Sivakanda, Vishnu, Shiva, Anil, both of these guys have got 32 out of 75. Rahul has got this answer as 36 by 75. Archana has got 32 of 75, 30 of 75, and so on. Yeah, option 2. Right, option 2 seems to be the most common response. Let's take it up now, right? Here we go. So the question says, find the probability that a number from 1 to 300 is divisible by 3 or 7. Find the probability that a number from 1 to 300, right? From 1 to 300 is divisible by 3 or 7. 3 or 7. Now, one basic and fundamental rule that you need to understand is in probability as well as permutations and combinations. Both permutations and combinations and probability. In these two topics, when you are dealing with the operation plus, when you're dealing with or, let's say, it means plus. And when you are dealing with an operation and, it means, these are like, rule of multiplication and rule of addition. If you understand that in detail through our videos, it will be great, right? But in both the topics, see, when you are dealing with an or type of operation, like in this case, 3 or 7, we have to use the plus operator. When you're dealing with and, you have to use the multiplication operator. Now the point that I'm trying to make is, it says, find the probability that the number is divisible by 3 or it is divisible by 7. So basically, I'm going to look at the probability that the number is divisible by 3 plus or is simply replaced by plus. The probability that the number is divisible by 7. Two different cases. Case 1 plus case 2. If he says find the probability that the number is divisible by 3 and 7, then you have to go for multiplication. Multiplication as in don't multiply the probabilities, but you will understand this in detail if you go through the videos, right? So basically here we have to take up the probability separately, right? Number should be divisible by 3 or the number should be divisible by 7. So add the probabilities separately. Yeah. Now, what numbers are divisible by 3? 3, 6, 9, 12 and so on up to 300. What numbers are divisible by 7? 7, 14, 21, 28 and so on up to whatever possible value, right? I think the last value that we'll have is 280 plus 14, 294. Now understand, how many numbers will be there from 1 to 300 which are multiples of 3? How are we going to deal with this? Simple. The probability that the number is divisible by 3 or 7, you can directly take it as follows. What is probability? Number of favorable cases divided by total number of cases. Right? I have to choose a number. I have to choose a number from 1 to 300. What is the probability that the number is either divisible by 3 or it is divisible by 7? Which means, what is the probability that the number is a multiple of 3 or a multiple of 7? So, what is probability? The basic definition of probability is number of favorable cases divided by total number of cases. Number of favorable cases divided by total number of cases. Now, in how many ways can you choose a number between 1 to 300? In 300 ways. I have to choose one number from 1 to 300. That can be done in 300 ways. Now, what is the probability that the number is a multiple of 3? There are 100 such multiples, right? 3, 6, 9, 12 and so on up to 300. Right? 100 multiples. You understand? 1 to 300, there are 100 multiples of 3. How many multiples of 7? 7, 14, 21, 28 and so on, 294. So basically, try and divide 294. Basically divide 300 by 7. What will you get? When you divide 300 by 7, you'll get 42 point something. So there are 42 complete multiples. When I divide 300 by 3, I get exactly 100, which means there are 100 multiples of 3. When I divide 300 by 7, we'll get 42 point something, right? 42.85712 to be precise. So there are 42 complete multiples of 7. So 100 plus 42. However, you should also realize that there could be common values between multiples of 3 and 7. Like if you go forward, you know that 21 is a multiple of 3. 21 is also a multiple of 7. Right? 42 will be a multiple of 3. 42 is also a multiple of 7. Right? So you have to subtract all these common multiples because these have been counted twice. 21 has been counted in 100. 21 has also been counted in these 42. Right? Similarly, the number, let's say 210. You know that 210 is a multiple of 3. 210 is also a multiple of 7. Now 210 has been counted both the times in case of 100 as well as in case, in 100 numbers and in 42 numbers. In both the numbers, 210 has also been counted. So we have to subtract all such common values. How do we get those common values? See, the least common multiple of 3 and 7 is 21. What is the LCM of 3 and 7? LCM of 3 and 7 is 21. 21 is the smallest common multiple, least common multiple of 3 and 7. So which means 21 is one such number which has been taken twice here. It has been taken in 100, it has also been taken in 40. So you have to subtract 21 and all the multiples of 21 between 1 to 300. So 21, 42, 63, 84, 105 and so on. But you can't be doing this drama in the exam, right? You just can't do this in the exam. So what do you do? Again the same point. I am trying to find out how many such multiples of 21 will be there between 1 to 300. What do you do? Divide 300 by 3 to get the number of multiples. Divide 300 by 7 to get the number of multiples. Similarly, divide 300 by 21. How many multiples? 300 by 21. So 210 plus 90, right? 210 is 10 times. 90 is 84 plus 6. 4 times plus something. So 14 point something you will get. You understand? So I can say the number of complete multiples of 21 are 14. Subtract that 14 because 14 numbers have been counted twice. So I'm subtracting it once. And that's the final answer. So these are the number of favorable cases. Number of multiples of 3, number of multiples of 7 and number of common multiples of 3 and 7. You have to subtract those common multiples. Divide by the number of ways in which I can choose the number. So out of 300 numbers, we can choose numbers in 300 ways. So 100 plus 42, 142 minus 14 is 128. 128 by 300. So if you divide by 4, I think 4 is a common divisor, right? So divide by 4, you will get 32 by 75. 4 into 75, 4 into 32. So 32 by 75 is the final answer, option 2. All right, 32 by 75. It's not 36 by 75. It will be 32 by 75. 32 by 75. Clear to all of you? I'm sure, simple. I mean, don't go by the length of the explanation, right? I'm giving you all the full explanation there. You should know how to just play with those numbers. All the multiples of 3, all the multiples of 7 and the common multiples of 3 and 7. How do you find out the common multiples of 3 and 7? Take the least common multiple and take all the multiples of 3 and 7. And this is not a question which should be skipped in the exam. A very easy one from probability. You cannot expect questions easier than this, right? So 100 plus 42 minus 20 minus 14. 100 plus 42 minus 14 upon 300. Yeah. So all those who have got 36 out of 75, I think the next common response that I see is 36 out of 25. These guys have gone wrong somewhere. So just check your calculation. Yeah. Clear? Any confusions with this one, or can we go to the next one now? Keshu, finally I can see your comment, Keshu. So let me read it out, right? Looks like you've been upset that I have not looked at or not responded to your query. I'm seeing it only for the first time now. So he says, Sir, IBPS RRB में जो last year cutoffs हैं 67 to 55 etc. वो सब 80% है 100% में से या marks हैं 80 में से? Marks है तो 80 percentile कैसे काम करता है? Please reply. First of all, Keshu, I don't really understand कि आपको ये क्यों जानना है? Because like I said, anything related to cutoff is not in our control. In our as in not me, but in our control, right? Nobody can do anything about it, right? Cutoff is like not pre-decided, like I've said. But anyway, cutoff is usually an absolute value. So ये 80 में से ही है. मतलब I don't even know what the cutoff last year was. If you are saying it is 67, I think it's too high. 67 out of 80. But 67 is a number. Right? It's not a percentage. Cutoff is always in terms of absolute values, right? It's not a percentage value because it is not pre-decided, right? So cutoff can be 43, cutoff can be 57, it can be 61, it can be 39, it can be 74, whatever it is the actual number. So cutoff अगर 67 है, इसका मतलब है you have to get 67 marks out of 80 to clear that round. और 55 है तो 55 out of 80 to clear that round. अब इसे अगर आपको परसेंटाइल में कन्वर्ट करना हो, सी परसेंटाइल एंड परसेंटेज आर टू डिफरेंट थिंग्स. परसेंटेज में कैसे कन्वर्ट करेंगे? बहुत इजी, हमने डिस्कस किया. x इज व्हाट परसेंट ऑफ y, x by y into 100. So whatever is the cutoff divided by 80 into 100, right? If 67 is the cutoff, 67 by 80 into 100. What will be 67 by 80 by the way? 80% plus 3 by 8 is 3.75, 83.75 percentage. Yeah. So 67 अगर कट ऑफ हो, इसको परसेंटेज में कन्वर्ट करना है, then it is 83.75 percentage. बट आप परसेंटाइल शायद पूछ रहे हो, राइट? इक्वी परसेंटाइल. परसेंटाइल कन्वर्जन के लिए हमें नंबर ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स और इनके स्कोर्स जाना जरूरी है, राइट? So I think that only depends. You understand what percentile is, right? If you say, okay, I am 89 percentiler in some exam, it means 11% of the candidates who appeared in that exam are ahead of me and 89% are behind me. That's the idea. 89 or a percentile score gives your relative position across all the candidates. Percentage is on the scale of marks, right? Percentage is always on the scale of marks. So if you say my score is 89%, so out of the maximum marks you could score 89%. When you say my score is 89 percentile, out of all the candidates there, you are in the 89th position, right? In general, that's the idea. So 11 candidates are ahead of you out of every 100 candidates, and 89 are behind you. I mean, if 11 are ahead and 89 are behind, then where are you actually? I mean, that becomes a question, because total is 100. But yeah, you convert that to percentile, right? What happens is 11% are ahead of you out of total candidates, and 89% are behind you. So if I say my score is 94 percentile, I'm in the not 94th position, but yeah, 6th position if you come from behind. I mean, if you come from 100, right? So 6% of the candidates are ahead of you, 94% candidates are behind you. But why is the question? Why do we need this? Yeah. Prabhakar says RRB exam was not conducted in Karnataka state. Will it be conducted or not? It will be conducted. Definitely will be conducted, right? How can they cancel the exam in one particular state? Yeah. Chalo, let me go to the next one now. Let me present the next question to you all before we take up all the other queries. So here's the next one. Time and work. Interesting. Let's see. 14 men. The question reads that 14 men can do a work in 18 days. But time and work reminds me that time is over actually for our work, right? It's already 7 o'clock. We should be closing the session now. So I think this is the last question that we'll be doing today. I wish I could solve more, but yeah, limited time, so we'll have to stop here. Anyway, solve this one now. 14 men can do a work in 18 days. 15 women can do the work in 24 days. If 14 men work for first 3 days and 10 women work after that for 3 days, find the part of the work left after that. Yeah, so time and work, the fundamental concept here is work can be measured as number of persons into number of days. Work is a function of persons and time. Work is proportional to number of persons, and work is also proportional to time. So work can always be measured as, to kind of take an example, work can be taken as men days, number of men working for number of days. So if 5 men work for 8 days, we can say the work is 5 into 8, 40 man days of work, right? That's the idea. So using that concept, you can solve this question. I'll leave it here on your screen for 60 seconds. The clock has already started. Let's see how many of you get it right. Somebody has asked me, sir, tell me how to remember for a long time, yoga or what? हाँ, योगा करने से कुछ नहीं होगा, ब्रेन को योगा करवाना पड़ेगा, उसके लिए प्रैक्टिस करनी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. Yoga is also good for health, but for mental health you have to do mental practice. Menka has asked me a question, right? I am now in the age of 28. If I start preparing for bank exams, will I clear the exams? Because a lot of people prepare for more than 3 years. Menka, you're absolutely right. You are 28 years old. You have got 2 more years to be eligible to appear for a bank exam. And you have seen a lot of people who have prepared for more than 3 years. Let me tell you, I have seen a lot of people who have prepared for 3 months and cracked the exam. I hope you have got the answer. I know a lot of people, a lot of our students who have prepared for just 3 months and cracked this exam. So, you know what my answer is. Okay, 3 by 4. 3 by 4 is the common response here, right? I can see a lot of you have responded 3 by 4. Yeah. Anurag Sharma, Vaishnavi, Tushar Tiwari, Pavan Kumar, Rajat, Sid Shaw, all these guys have got 3 by 4, but Naresh Reddy says it's 1 by 4. Yeah. And Lalu Prasad Yadav has got 1 by 4. Krishnakant has got 1 by 5. Okay, so clearly 3 by 4 is the most common response, followed by 1 by 4. Let's see what is the correct answer here. So here we go with the solution. Time is up. Let's see what the answer is. So it says 14 men can do a work in 18 days. 15 women can do a work in 24 days. So there's some work which 14 men can complete in 18 days. 15 women would take 24 days to do the same work. 24 days to do the same work. Now what has actually happened? 14 men work for first 3 days. 14 men work for first 3 days. And 10 women work after that for 3 days. 10 women work after that for 3 days. Find the part of the work left after that. You have to find the part of the work which is left after that. How much work is remaining is the question. So if I have to measure the work, I can say the total work is 14 men into 18 days, which is equal to 15 women into 24 days. You understand? I told you work can always be measured as number of persons into number of days. So 14 men can do in 18 days. So I can say the work is 14 into 18 man days. Or the same work can be done by 15 women in 24 days. So I can say the work here is 15 into 24 women days. Basically the capacities are different, right? So based on that we'll get different values here. So either 14 into 18. What is 14 into 18 by the way? 252, right? Yeah. So 252 man days, or 15 into 24, 360 women days. Yeah. So 252 man days or 360 women days. I mean, that's the way you can measure this particular work here. However, what has happened in the actual case is 14 men work for first 3 days. 14 men work for first 3 days. And after that, only 10 women work for 3 days. So obviously they will not be completing the full work. So what is the remaining work is the question. Find the part of the work left after that. How much is remaining after that? See, simple idea is, you know that 14 men can complete the full work in 18 days. Full work is 1 unit. You know, work in general can be taken as 1 unit. Total work is 1 unit. They can do full work in 1 day. They can do full work, 1 unit of work in 18 days. Here, 14 men have worked only for how many days? 3 days. 14 men have worked for 3 days. So if they can do the total work in 18 days, what part of the work can be done in 3 days? 3 days is 1/6 of 18, right? See, the capacity is same. You understand? Or I should rather put it this way for easier understanding, right? Let me write it here. We are talking about 14 men. 14 men can do 1 unit of the work in 18 days. How much of work will they do in 3 days? The work is proportional to number of days. So you can directly, you can use the direct proportionality there. They can do 1 unit in 18 days. How much of work will be done in 3 days? How do you find this? See, I'm putting it on paper to explain it to you. Mentally, by the time you finish reading this statement, if 14 men work for first 3 days, you know that they'll do 1/6 of the work. How do you get this? 1 into 3 by 18, which is 1/6. So I know that these 14 men have been able to finish 1/6 of the work. What these 14 men have done in 3 days is 1/6 of the total work. That's one part of it. Now, 10 women work for 3 days. 10 women have worked for 3 days. You understand? Now, this time what happens? See, what do we have on the left hand side here? Work. What do we have on the right hand side? Number of days. Because number of men were common. Number of men were common. Here 14 men and here 14 men. So we directly taken proportional to number of days. But if number of people are not common, you multiply the number of people with the number of days. And then take the proportionality. So in this case what happens? I know that 1 unit of the work can be done by 15 women in 24 days. We are talking about women now. 15 women can finish the total work, 1 unit in 24 days. But here 10 women have worked. For how many days? 3 days. So how much of work will get over? You getting it? Earlier we did not multiply with 14 because 14 men were common in both the cases. If there are different number of persons, multiply that also, factor that also, and you will get the proportionate work accordingly. Like here in this case, 15 women work for 24 days, 10 women work for 3 days. So there is different amount of work getting done there. Both are women, capacity is same, right? 15 women, 10 women. So simplify now. So this question mark will be equal to what? 10 into 3, 30 upon 15 into 3, 24 is 360. So it's like 1/12 of the work. 30 by 360 is 1/12. So I can say 1/12 of the work. 10 women in 3 days have done 1/12 of the work. Yeah. So what we have found is one part of the work is 1/6, the other part that is done is 1/12. What is remaining? Find the part of the work left after that. Remaining work. How do you get remaining work? See, you know the total work is 1, of which 1/6 has been done by men and 1/12 has been done by women. Simplify this. 12 is LCM, or add these two and subtract from 1. So 12 is LCM, this is 12 minus 2 minus 1. So 12 minus 3 is 9. 9 by 12 is 3 by 4. So 3/4 of the work is remaining. I think all those who have marked 1/4, they have actually calculated the amount of work done. You understand? If I take common, minus in common, 1/6 plus 1/12 is 1/4. 1/4 of the work is done. But what is asked us to find out is the remaining work left after that. So if 1/4 is done, 3/4 is remaining. So read the question properly. I think the observation here is you did not read the question completely and you have marked the answer. Yeah? So you read it properly and get it. Now don't go by the length of the explanation. Let me highlight what all can be avoided on paper. You need not put all these steps on paper, right? 14 men into 18 days, 15 women into 24 days. I think this part of the calculation for men can be done mentally. Number of men are common. 14 men, 14 men. 18 days, 3 days. So 3 is 1/6 of 18. So obviously 1/6 of the work is done. You don't have to write any of these steps on paper. Second part maybe you put on paper, and that too you don't have to write this whole, you don't have to present it this way, right? You will not be awarded extra marks for this. That 1 unit has been done by 15 women in 24 days. How much will be done by 10 women in 3 days? You won't get extra marks for this. All you have to put on paper is 10 into 3, 30. I mean, not in red. Whatever is in red should be avoided, right? All you have to write on paper here is this, that 10 into 3, 30 divided by 15 into 24, 360. That too I'm sure you can do mentally, 1/12. So you know 1/6 here, 1/12 here. Add these two, then subtract from 1. So I think these are the only steps that you have to put on paper. Everything else is a waste of time. Yeah? 3/4 option 2 is the correct answer. I am sure all of you could have got the right answer, provided you have read the question completely. Yeah? All right, I think we'll take one more question. I am not feeling like closing it immediately. I always would want to do more, but don't worry. If you want to solve and learn more and more through these live sessions, you can explore our online programs or pen drive programs, which have got like 4 live sessions every week, not just one, right? This one is only on Wednesday, but otherwise you do 4 sessions every week. So what I'll do is, before we call it a day, let me just take one more question from the last year's IBPS PO Premier exam paper, which is based on profit and loss. Interesting one. I'll present it to you, give you like 1 minute to solve this, and then discuss the solution. Here we go. So the last question for the session today is on your screens now. See what it says. A seller marks the price 50% above the cost price and gives 10% discount on an item. While selling, he cheats the customer by giving 20% less in weight. Find his overall profit percentage approximately. Interesting question, right? A dishonest seller, cheater. He is giving 20% less to the customer without customer's knowledge, of course. He is making some profit. And also he's making profit by increasing the price and then showing up that he's giving some discount. So what is the overall profit is the question. Find the overall profit approximately. 1 minute. The clock has already started. Yogindra says that, please take the SBI 2017 preliminary paper also. Yogindra, like I said, yes, we will do SBI PO prelims as well for this year's IBPS PO season, because IBPS PO is following the SBI pattern every year, right? But I'm not sure if I'll be able to take up the questions in the session today or in these free sessions. However, we are sure to take up such questions in our other live sessions. 68%. I think answers have started coming in. Siddharth, by the way, has marked the answer as 26%, option 1. But Pawan Kumar has got 68, Neeraj has got 68, Sonam Sharma has got 68, and so has Keshu, Tushar Tiwari, Archana, Kulvinder Saini. Yeah. Then we have Vamshi, Valay Trivedi, Raj, Reddy, and others. 68, yeah? The common response, 68. Narendra, Vishwanath. Okay, Narendra has got 68, Rashmi has got 68, Vishwanath has got 65, which is there in the options, 65. And yeah, Vikash Kumar has marked 3/4. Vikash, you are in the previous question, I guess. Alright. So I think time is up. I have given you more than what is required to solve this one. And looks like the most common response here is 68%. So let's try and solve it now. Here we go. So the question says a seller marks the price 50% above the cost price and gives 10% discount on an item. While selling, he cheats the customer by giving 20% less in weight. Find his overall profit percent. Find his overall profit percent is the question, right? Find out his overall profit percentage. Okay. Now, how do we solve this? See, understand that the question here is asking us to work on the profit percent. Now, this is the advantage we have, right? Whenever you have to deal with profit percentage or loss percentage or value in terms of percentage, you can always assume some initial value for the cost price. Accordingly, find out the other values like the mark price, the discount, the selling price, etc. and do the calculation to arrive at the profit percentage. Because percentage doesn't really depend on the absolute value, right? If you understand the whole concept of percentage, it's actually to avoid the dependency on the absolute values. So if you can start with an assumption that the cost price is 100 and do the calculations accordingly, according to the given question, you will be getting the answer very easily, right? So I'll assume that the cost price is 100. Remember, we do not know if the cost price is 100 or not. Cost price can be taken as 110 also. Cost price can be taken as 132. Cost price can be taken as 97. You can assume any value, but it's easy to start with 100. So that is the reason. Let's take the cost price as 100. Remember, it will not impact the final answer because the final answer is in terms of percentage. So the cost price is 100. Let's assume 100 per kg. This is an assumption, right? 100 rupees per kg. The cost price is 100 rupees per kg. Yeah. The seller marks the price 50% above the cost price. So what is the marked price? I mean, I'm not going to the details of what the marked price is, what is the discount, etc. Assuming that you know the basics from our videos, the marked price will be what? Cost price plus 50% of cost price. Cost price plus 50%. It is 50% above the cost price. So you should take the marked price as 100 plus 50% of 100. So you don't have to write these steps. C plus 50%, 100 plus 50%. You know that 50% more than 100 is 150. Directly you can write 150. I'm just giving you a detailed solution. So mark price is 150. And gives 10% discount. Discount is equal to 10%. 10% of what? Remember, discount is always calculated on mark price. So 10% of mark price, which is 150. What is 10% of 150? 10% of 150 is 15 rupees. Now the marked price is 150, which means he has marked the article or whatever the item is at 150 rupees per kg, but he's giving a discount of 15 rupees. So what will be the selling price? Selling price is marked price minus discount. So 150 minus 15, it comes out to be 135. 135 rupees per kg. So we have started with an assumption that the costing is 100 rupees a kg, calculate the mark price and discount according to the given data, and we have found that the selling price for this will be 135 rupees a kg. So if you see here, if I have to measure the profit, how much is it? 35%. What has been bought for 100 rupees is being sold for 135 rupees. Yes or no? Whatever has been bought for 100 rupees is being sold for 135 rupees. So the profit is 35%. In case the question is find the profit percentage. But here there's one more lever. What is the lever? Other lever that the person is playing here? While selling, he cheats the customer by giving 20% less in weight. So this way also he's making some money. You understand? So final answer is not going to be 35. Simply based on the cost price and selling price, it is 35%. But final answer will be more than 35. How do you measure that overall percentage? That is the reason he's asking us to find out overall profit percentage, right? Overall profit percentage. How do you get that? Understand. He is cheating the customer by giving 20% less in weight. By giving 20% less in weight. Which means, assume that you are the customer and I am the shopkeeper. I am the cheater and you are the customer, right? I mean, shopkeeper who's the cheater here. You come to me, you tell me that I want 1 kg of this item, 1 kg of whatever I am selling there. I will say, yeah, the mark price is 150 rupees, but I'll give you a 10% discount. So you pay me 135 rupees. You will happily pay 135 rupees because you have saved 10%, right? So you want to buy 1 kg, you pay me 135 rupees according to the description that I have given, meaning that the marking is 150, but I am giving you 10% discount. You will pay me 135 rupees. So what you pay me becomes my income. The selling price, 135 rupees. So this is the selling price, actual selling price. Let's say S dash. However, I know that I am not giving you 1 kg. If I am really giving you 1 kg, my costing is rupees 100. For 1 kg, I have spent 100 rupees. But am I giving you 1 kg? No, I am giving you 20% less. I am giving you 20% less, which means I am giving you only 800 grams, 0.8 kgs. I am not giving you 1 kg, I am giving 20% less. 20% less of 1 kg is 0.8 kgs. If 1 kg has costed 100 rupees, 0.8 kg will cost how much? 80 rupees. 1 kg the cost is 100. For 0.8 kg the cost will be 80 rupees. This is the costing. So this is the real cost price. In this transaction, the real cost price is 100, but in this transaction, the costing is 80 rupees. So you come to me saying that I want 1 kg of this item. I say, yeah, you have to pay me 135 rupees. You pay me 135 rupees. I give you 1 kg, supposedly 1 kg. But actually what I've given you is only 0.8 kgs. And for 0.8 kg, my costing is 80 rupees, right? What is my खर्चा? मेरा खर्चा कितना है? 80 rupees. क्योंकि मैंने आपको सिर्फ 800 ग्राम्स दिया है. आपने मुझे कितना पे किया? 135 rupees. राइट. एंड मैंने आपको एक स्टोरी बता दी है कि भाई लिस्ट प्राइस तो 150 है, मैं आपको 10% डिस्काउंट दे रहा हूं क्योंकि आप मेरे रेगुलर कस्टमर और व्हाटएवर इट इज. सो नाउ द वैल्यूज दैट यू हैव टू प्ले विथ इज 135 and 80. Selling price is 135. Not the selling price actually. This can be called as income. My income in this transaction is 135. My expenditure in this transaction is 80. You understand? This is like income. I am using selling price and cost price terminology because it's easier to follow that way. My expenditure of the transaction is 80 rupees. Now, how do you calculate profit? Profit is income minus expenditure by expenditure. So overall profit. Don't write overall profit in the exam on your paper, right? You won't get extra marks for this. You'll only lose 3-4 seconds in writing this. Overall profit is how much? Actually, profit is selling price minus cost price by cost price into 100. But selling price is equivalent to income. Cost price is equivalent to expenditure. So income minus expenditure by expenditure into 100. So 135 minus 80 by 80 into 100. Do the calculation, you will get the answer. What is 135 minus 80? 55. So final answer is 55 by 80. This is like x is what percent of y. Remember our data interpretation questions that we have solved a few minutes ago. X is what percent of y? X by y into 100. 55 is what percent of 80? 55 is what percent of 80? Do the calculation. How do you do it? How do you do the calculation? How do you do this calculation? Understand. 10% is 8. I have told you, right? Always forget about this 100 and all that. Don't say this is 5 times, this is 4 times and all that. 20 into 5, 20 into 4, all that is not needed. Forget about 100. If really required, we'll involve 100 in the calculation. Otherwise, just forget about it. Only deal with the fraction. 55 by 80. And don't even try to do cancellation here. Like 5 into 11, 5 into 16. You understand? 5 11s are 55, 5 16s are 80. That drama won't help you. Simple understanding is 100% is 80. 100% is 80. So 10% will be 8. Now try to represent 55 in terms of 8. In terms of multiples of 8. See, I know multiply both sides by 7. This has to be done mentally again. What happens? 70% is equivalent to what? 8 into 7, 56. Which means 56 is 70%. 56 is equivalent to 70%. But the actual numerator is not 56. If the numerator was 56, I could have straight marked the answer as 70%. But the numerator is less than 56. The numerator is less than 56. If the actual numerator is less than 56, answer should be less than 70. Very close to 56, by the way. 55 and 56 are very close to each other. But lesser than that. Slightly lesser than that. So slightly less than how much? 70%. Option 1, option 2, option 4, option 5 are eliminated. Option 4 and 5 are anyway out of range. It should be less than 70. These are more than 70. So eliminated. Option 1 is anyway out of range. Option 2 and 3 are close to 70 and less than 70. But 65 can't be the answer. It should be close to 70. Option 3, 68% is the answer. 68% will be the final answer. approximately. Yeah. Now those who all feel that the solution has become lengthy, ये बहुत लंबा हो गया है, इसको मैं cut short करता हूँ, right? Let me explain कि how do you, what do you actually put on paper? In my view, all that I'm highlighting in red is not to be put on paper. This, see, don't go by the length of the explanation, right? I'm explaining it, I'm not solving it, I'm explaining it, so it takes more time. Do you have to write cost price is 100 rupees per kg assumption and all that? No. Do you have to write mark price is cost price plus 50%, 100 plus 50% of 100 and 150? No. 100 and 50% more than 100 is 150 straight. Discount is 10% of mark price. Nobody is going to give you marks for this. Selling price is mark price minus discount, 150 minus 15, 135. No. All that you see in red here is to be avoided. Which means I say that when I read the first statement, a seller marks the price 50% above the cost price. I know this is 100, this is 150, this is 15. So selling price is going to be 135. What you have to do is this part of the solution is important, which I'm highlighting in green. You should do this in the exam. कि भाई 1 kg अगर 35 rupees, मतलब if the customer is paying me 135, that's my income. I am giving only 0.8 kgs, so I am spending 80 rupees. And after that, don't write overall profit and all that. Just do this calculation: 55 by 80 into 100. You should look at the numbers and mark the answer. Don't even put this. 100 is 80, so 10 is 8 into 7 on both sides. All this is paperwork. You have to cut it down, right? So if you look at the screen, it looks to be a clumsy and lengthy process. But in my view, hold on. In my view, what you really need to put on paper is just that green portion. The red portion is to be avoided. This is for the sake of explanation. Immediately I should know that answer should be less than 70% and very close to 70%. Option 368 is what satisfies those conditions. So don't go by the length of the explanation, right? Don't go by the length of the explanation. Just cut down the number of steps that you put on paper, and I'm sure you'll be able to get the answer really quick. Of course, there are shortcut techniques also available. Maybe you can try using effective percentage, etc. But even without the shortcut, I think this is a 30-second problem. 30 seconds also is on a higher side in my view. 30 seconds, play with those numbers and get the answer. Anyway, we have not been able to do enough. I wish I could do more. But yeah, I have to stop here. We have hard stop at 7. I've already extended by almost 30 minutes. So let me close it here. I'm glad that all of you have joined us in this session. Thank you so much for participating in this free live session that we have every Wednesday at 6 p.m. But like I said, we otherwise have more live sessions for, as a part of the TalentSprint program. So you can explore the details of our program on our website, which is talentsprint.com. If you feel like I'm promoting the program here, I'm not. The only point that I would like to make is whether you join the program or not, practice, right? Irrespective of where you're preparing, right? Whether you're going for a classroom coaching or an online program or some other online program, I think the secret to success is the same. You have to practice more. Yeah. So my sincere advice to all of you is to leave no stone unturned. This time which you have before your preliminary examination in IBPS PO, or for that matter the IBPS clerks exam, which is coming up in December, is really very, very crucial, and it's not going to come back. So make the most out of this limited time that you have. Do everything possible to move towards your goal, right? Every single step that you take on your in your day-to-day schedule from now on should be helping you reach towards your goal, right? Everything that you do, just check, is this going to help me move closer to my goal? Even if it helps you move an inch closer to your goal, do that. If you think this is not going to help me add value to my preparation or enhance my learning, just avoid it, right? Get away from all the distractions, right? WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube. When I say YouTube, I'm actually a little scary. YouTube as in not this YouTube stream, but yeah, other entertainment based stuff that we do on YouTube, right? So get out of all the distractions, focus on your goal, which is your dream bank job, and I'm sure you'll be able to crack it provided you do all the right things in this limited time, right? So practice is the only shortcut. The more you practice, the easier it gets. On that note, let me close it here. Thank you once again for joining us. We will meet again. Actually, I'm going to meet our students on Thursday, which is tomorrow at 6 p.m. for a problem solving session on reasoning, and then again on Saturday for refresher sessions of IBPS PO exam, right? But yeah, we will meet again as a part of this free session on YouTube on the coming Wednesday at 6 p.m. right? Same day, same time. Until then, keep practicing and take very good care of yourselves. Bye.